Welcome, adventurers, to Probability of Demise, the podcast where critical fumbles meet critical facepalms. Join us as we delve into the darkest dungeons, slay the stupidest gremlins, and roll enough ones to make a beholder weep. Forget epic storylines and heroic deeds. Here we celebrate the chaotic beauty of bad rolls, questionable decisions, and characters with more charisma than sense. We'll be your dungeon masters of disappointment, guiding you through campaigns where the only guaranteed treasure is a mountain of laughter, and maybe some psychic scarring. So grab your Nat 1 dice, strap on your anxiety helmets, and prepare to witness the glorious train wreck that is our D&D journey. Because, in the end, even if your character dies face first into a pile of pudding, at least you'll have the dice god's permission to laugh your ass off. Welcome back to Probability of Demise, the podcast where you find your own pod because we tell you to. Please like, subscribe, dingle dangle, bongle dongle, alert, jingles, and do a dance. And check out our website at probabilityofdemise.com, where you can also check out our store and buy crap like amazing dog hoodies and a shirt that says find your pod, and the thing that Jess is holding up and the thing that I'm...
Yay. Not
Yay.
this one. This one's a different shirt. I can make one then.
We do have some super fun little things in there that have been added. I just noticed there was one that says Dungeon Master, and I'm really curious what that says, but I can't look at it right now because we have a whole thing to go, sponsored by Jess.
Word of the day. Oh my gosh. Okay. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to another whimsical word of the day. Today's wonderful word of the day is once again brought to you by the power of the D100. Today I have rolled the dice and I have landed on 3. And today's word is Xantic. Where is my definition? Where did you go? I miss you so. Oh, here it is. Okay. Xantic is relating to or tending towards like a yellow color in hue. So it's like a color, but it's more yellowy. And used in a sentence, the Xantic hues of the autumn leaves painted a vibrant tapestry across the forest floor.
Can you spell it for me?
Xan, and then thick, THIC.
Thank you so much for that. That was amazing. That was everything I wanted and more.
Like thick.
Okay. I'm super
That's the
excited.
best word of the day yet.
With all of that,
Now
let's
we
go
just have to remember to use it.
ahead and dive into the session. I feel like that was like just built for Gus as a character, painter. But we are jumping into the case of the sickly shut-in and the surreptitious Squelch part 2. Our investigators emerged battered but unbroken from a recent investigation. Gus got some healing last-minute magic and all that good stuff at the Sincere House. Lewis got her awesomeness during that ordeal and got some little special loves. Gus, kind of recovering from nasty wounding, Seraphina rushed home, leaving Alua and Gus to go to the Sincere House together, and found her ailing father because, of course, her residence had been under the original attack in the previous little arc. That brought us into the current little mini episode that we're within, where Seraphina's home had been in disarray. it had collapsed. She had gone in. She found there's a strange green ooze seeping around, doing things. There's suspicious neighbors pointing fingers, and all things are just a hot mess. Alua and Gus arrived upon the scene to discover that they needed to manipulate some words, some momentary words with a young guard who might have been thinking something was going on, and they figured out how to get into the building to find Seraphina covered in ooh, because that's what she does. And it turned out this green goo became an unexpected ally. Wubble, a friendly ooze, offered a lukewarm embrace to Seraphina and Alua, giving them a burning heal. Gus figured everything out, of course, because
he's the smart
found
one.
a broken urn that was labeled Wubble's home and was able to get Wubble to leave its newfound friends. A quick repair job later, the urn happily was able to welcome Wubble back inside, freeing Seraphina, her father, and Alua. With a little help from, there was the interest in using the broom, but the broom was then put aside, and they were able to bring Seraphina, Ulua, and Gus, and the father out of the home. There was a little heartwarming reunion tinged with a touch of surprise as we realized that Wubble is not just any ooze, but actually, as the players know, a familiar, a magical companion. As they escaped, the house finally gave way, maybe because of a surprised individual who was tasked with keeping the building stable, losing concentration on their spell, my first nat 1 of the day and the last roll I made that day. The episode, of course, concludes with the tearful embrace between Seraphina and her mother and father. And our investigators are the heroes without having murdered anyone. Or being murdered themselves.
Double.
It's been days since we've killed anyone.
So here we are, the wreckage behind you. I have my little set of, I wrote way too many words of different things that you possibly could be doing next. The collapsed house behind you. There's wreckage there. The cheering of both the city people who've been tasked with intervening in these types of situations in cases of property damage, working away at whatever they're doing. Some are interviewing neighbors. People are chatting. Seraphina, your mother and father are there. Your father has collapsed to the ground. His condition, having placed him in a state of weakness, that it can't keep up with all of this going on here. And there's a little bit of, I'm guessing, Seraphina, some loss and grief. Your home where you grew up is no more. Your mother doesn't seem to be attending to that right now. She's more focused on you and your father. But Gus, Alua, Seraphina, what are you up to?
I'm going to sit down because I am tired and have not rested.
Are you just looking for like a little comfy place to sit near the building, or are you just sitting right there in the dust and debris?
Definitely looking for somewhere to sit and prestidigitating a spot.
You're doing that. You find a place to settle yourself down. Gus?
I'm just like waiting for the family reunion to settle down so that I can talk to them.
Then all attention.
I got like the from Seraphina at the end of, so I'm waiting to talk to her before she gets mad at me.
All attention turns to Seraphina.
I would have rushed right over to where my parents are to just be with
I mean,
him.
you brought them out. Your mother rushed to you.
Okay,
There's no
so I'm
rushing to
staying
anybody.
there.
You're
Okay.
there.
Great.
You are
So I'm
currently
just-
embraced by the family. Your father is no longer physically standing, but yes, you are all there.
That I'm just basically turning to my dad to look at him and saying, "What do you need? Do we need to get you to the hospital? Can I get you some water?" Just like going down the list of things that like might help.
Sure. Let's have you do a medicine check.
Okay. +2, 16, 17, 18.
Not bad at all.
18. Okay. Yeah. You, I mean, you're familiar with your father's history with this. You know the different symptoms. You know about and there's titles for these in different areas, like the flickering vision, tangled thoughts. Those are hard to know about. But the other ones, the whispers in the blood and the unmoored movement symptoms, you can definitely see visibly that his face is in pain, and you can see tremors along his limbs.
So with that information, do I know like what is best to do? Like would this be a go to the hospital? Is this just a rest with some water?
I think based
Would
on
I know that
this is as bad as it gets. This is the worst case scenarios. This is the stuff that scares you and your mom enough that you think he's about to die each time.
Okay. Then I am going to I mean, if we did, it'd be in the house. I'm gonna ask Alua, like call over to Alua, be like, Alua, can I borrow your broom? I need to get my dad to see his doctor. Like now.
Is this the same doctor who's been giving your father medicine?
I don't know. Would it be? It would be, right?
Yeah.
Rourke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just glance over at Gus. I don't know if when we were getting Gus help, I found out that I think the medicine that your father is being given is not actually medicine, but I don't know. The people that I spoke with, they didn't know where it was coming from. They didn't know who was providing it. I don't know much more than that. It's not very helpful, but I think you should see someone else.
Many years ago, this same drug was a street drug that was somewhat of an epidemic in the city. And I think it's been long enough that people don't remember it as such, and someone's taking advantage of that, and it's actually making your father sicker than he should be. Or can I roll a history check? Do I know? Can you just like withdraw from this and be okay, or is he gonna like die if he doesn't take more?
It's going to be a higher DC than your original check, but yes, you can go ahead and roll a history check for this one.
I'm guessing 11's not going to get there.
I think that you were very focused on getting the drugs off the streets in terms of like what your local area of control was, and you knew that there was more to this particular drug that was part of why it was addictive, and why it was also deadly. But you yourself never delved into the details. You weren't necessarily part of the medical side of what was going on with that.
I don't know if it's safe for him to just stop taking it, but we should find him a different doctor that can help him.
I'm gonna look to my mom and just take a second and just say, uh, uh, you don't know them yet. I don't really understand what they're saying, but I do trust what they're saying. But I don't. Should we go see Dr. Franz? Making a name up. And give him something until we figure this out, or do we go find someone new right this second?
She seems stuck and very hesitant.
I would like to roll to see if I know a better doctor.
Hold on just a second, and we'll,
Okay.
Dr. Franz is the best of the best.
Have you met his brother, Dr. Hans, though? Because he's pretty good.
I haven't met Hans.
She kind of looks at you, and you can tell that she's weighing something in her mind. Oh no. I need to. I can't do it. And then she just kind of collapses over your father, crying. Some stressor that is beyond just your father being sick, unless you want to roll for something more in detail, has just broken her.
I'm just gonna bend down, try to get her attention, be like, you gotta talk to me. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what to do. I have to go. But wait, I need to be with him. But also, we don't have any money. We can't afford it.
Well, that we can
don't
figure
have
out
a
later.
house. We don't have a place for the doctor to see him.
We'll go to the doctor. I will get us a house.
That's more expensive.
You can stay at my house if you need to. I have a house. It's small, but we'll make it work.
You can see like a little bit of like conflict in her face, Seraphina, as you're the closest, and she overhears this offer. Tears. She's not a pretty crier. She's ugly crying. I'm going to lose my job again.
I'm going to stand up at that point. I'm going to walk over to Seraphina's mom. I'm just going to put at how tall is she in comparison to you, Seraphina?
When I said I was like 6 foot, I think I said. She's definitely taller than me by like an inch or two. So I don't know, 6'2", 6'3".
Okay. I don't think I'm that tall. I can't remember. But I'm going to put my arms on either of her upper arms and just give her a little shake. Be like, listen, we will figure everything out, but you have to be here in this moment. You can't think about what may happen, what's going to happen. We have to think about what we have to do right now. And what we have to do right now is get your husband to a doctor. Right?
We can't get in without funds.
Where do we take your husband?
I don't know.
You have a place in mind.
No, Seraphina and her brother before, they always handled that so I could keep working. I haven't.
Okay. Well, then you go to work and we'll figure it out.
And she just continues sobbing and just struggling because like she can't. She is fully incapacitated by her emotional turmoil, and every time she looks behind her to the house, and then at her husband, and then at her daughter, it's like she's stuck in a cycle.
Where do you work?
I have to get to the farms now, and then later I have to get to the factories, and then after that I have to get back to the houses that I've been cleaning.
Okay, go.
Roll a persuasion check.
Can it be more of an intimidation check? Because
Intimidation, sure, if that's what you want to choose to do, because it feels better than the
Getting
persuasion.
a little fed up. Lua doesn't do helpless people. All right.
How dare
That's
you
a
be upset in this
6
situation where your
total.
house has collapsed? How dare you?
I know. That's a 6 total. You are in jail today.
I can't leave this. This is
Okay, if you're
It's
not
the
leaving,
end of
then what
us,
are
is
you
it?
going to do?
this is the end.
Okay, Mom.
Seraphina, you
Nope.
have to snap your mom out of this.
It's not the end. I'm going to look at Alua and be like, "Can I borrow your broomstick?"
Of course.
Okay. I want to. Wait, what do I say to open it again?
Away we go.
No,
Okay.
that's
Oh, it
to
just
get it to
opens.
go?
It just unfolds.
yeah. I can't remember the callback thing, so don't.
Maybe you
Oh,
should
okay. So I'm
watch
just
some of
gonna
our episodes,
blah, blah, blah.
or y'all could like them too.
I haven't even done that. I need to do that.
Just saying.
It's a good reminder. I haven't.
And you out there listening, you could also go back and listen and subscribe.
You also.
Anyway,
We will do a watch party together, folks.
I'm just a brat
okay.
right now.
I'm gonna put it all together, and I'm gonna say, "Mom, get on the broom." And if she just looks at me, I'm gonna
Are you trying to get both of your parents on this broom? It's not capable of flying with
don't-
that many people.
with 2 people.
I'll take
I thought
her-
we could.
One
couldn't take
person and a
everybody.
very, very
So-
small person was shaky.
yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
reason it was because I'm only 70 pounds. So
Okay,
I think you
so
would know
then-
this, so I don't want to
Yeah.
subvert things. Like you saw how it.
Okay.
Like
Jessica forgot.
It's not
Take care
a
of your
mass
dad.
So then-
transit tool. Like you could call for one of the private carpets or things like that. But like the broom is more of like a one person deal,
Okay. So then, since Jessica forgot about
personal
that,
vehicle.
I'm gonna tell you what I want to do, and then if you can help me, maybe story tell. I'm then going to get my dad on the broom, holding him up, and then fly him to the hospital to Dr. Franz.
Okay.
So
So yeah,
I am
think
there to keep him on the broom because I doubt he can do it himself. But I
he's
can't.
he's not capable right now at all. Yeah. He's got no physical control whatsoever. So, yes, you could utilize the broom to try to stabilize him, but you're probably going to need more than just you to help stabilize him, getting him over there. That does take the weight off you. You're not having to carry him.
What have we done in the past to get him to the hospital in this condition? The magical carpet?
Or ordering a medical carpet has been one of those things. I think the last time it was this bad was before he started on the current treatment of medication when your brother was still around.
Mm-hmm.
And your brother made it all happen for you both. You know where this temple is, but your brother was the one who really helped facilitate things for you. You've been picking up the medicine from the temple dispensary, but you haven't had to deal with those details in a while.
How long does it take to get a carpet?
It just, it's like getting a lift. Depends.
Okay, so then I'm gonna order a carpet. I assume she knows how to do that.
Yeah,
Jessica does
y-
not.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody in this world knows how to
Yeah.
send up the signal flare and get that.
Seraphina pulled out her
Signal flare.
phone.
So I shoot up a signal flare and wait.
It does take a little bit before one arrives. Your mother trying to get herself together, but every time she looks at something, it just sets her off again. A couple of the neighbors have come over and tried to console, but she seems inconsolable at this point. And finally, let's call it the Uber XL, the oversized carpet arrives, and the manager of the carpet. Where to? Who? Are you the ones who send up the flare?
Yes. How many people does the XL hold again?
Well, for a fee, I can enlarge.
Okay, I'm
We
gonna
could
turn
follow
and
you with a
count.
broom.
So
we
Alua,
can't.
and me,
One of us
Mom, Dad,
can.
5 people. However big this needs to be for 5 people.
All right. Does a little spin of a couple of emblems, like what looks like stitched fabric on the carpet, and it kind of stretches a little bit. And then there is plenty of space for all of you to sit up on the carpet.
All right, so I'm gonna. Can I roll like a strength check to try to like just baby carry my dad, put him on the carpet,
Sure.
or is that something I can just?
I feel like this is, with the care that you've had to provide for your father on occasion, seeing your brother doing it. This is something you can do. Yeah, it's not like an impossible thing. This is
Okay.
having taken care of my own
Like a second
elderly
nature thing at this
family
point. Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. So then I put him on the carpet and I look to everyone and I go, "Get on!" And then I look at Tualua and go, "Please."
Well, just to save on cost.
No, just get on, please.
Okay.
And I tell him the which temple to go to.
Yeah. You all take off flying low through the streets. They aren't taking off over buildings. They're maintaining a low altitude. And as you kind of curve around one of the areas with, 6th floor buildings, old, and opening out towards the plaza that is the home of all the ascended temples, you can make out the temple. And Gus, you know this temple as well because you were recently there. You can make it out, and that's where you're headed. And as you get there, you hear the sounds of what seems to be a riot.
Oh my goodness.
And where before there would be a line for the dispensary to pick up medication, there are many angry people screaming and yelling. The building itself looks closed. In fact, where normally there is the dispensary entry and a door for those who need to go inside the temple, the doors are just gone. It's solid wall.
Okay. What would there have been? And if I needed to do like a history check, I definitely can. Like a doctor we used to see before Dr. Franz, or would I know of another office of his? Like, surely in our past there was either a second location, a second doctor, maybe one we haven't even seen in a while, or just a general hospital at this point.
I mean, there's a place that
You know the place where
resurrected me.
where Gus got help. That is the most recent experience you have with another space. Anything else? I would say, like, if you want to really try to think about like what your family did, you can roll a history check.
Okay,
But
I will.
keep in mind, this was multiple years ago, before your father started finding ill. This was the first solution that seemed to have some sort of positive impact. And you are very much aware that your brother handled the majority of this.
I want to lean over to Alua and be like, where did the comb share get treated?
I mean, it depends. There are healers amongst us.
Would one of them help us?
I can try. I can check.
While they check / figure out, I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry.
You do know the place that you had taken Gus, and they had that's a totally separate place. It's in the Temple District.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
Original gods. Yeah. So you start heading there. Alua and Gus are having a conversation about possibly getting some Komshur healers to help.
You and I are we still like far enough from the ground that I can like hop off?
How far off the ground do you want to be? Because it's not that they're flying like super high, but they're also not like skimming the ground or anything like that. They're above like the traffic on the street.
Okay.
We could always have the guy just set down if you need to.
I mean, it's fine. I turn to Seraphina and I say, "Okay, where are you going?"
To the place that Gus went.
To
admit him to the hospital. The priest. We just
Tanzanites. To the Temple of Tanzanites followers.
Is that what I don't think that's what it was.
That was where the healers had to go to get permission to administer
to bring somebody back. They needed
resurrection.
Okay,
permission, but
got it. Okay, sorry.
The hospital is where you were in the children's ward and all of that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I know where that is. Okay, okay, I will meet you there. And I pull out my broom and I split off and I head back towards Sincere House.
Awesome. You're heading off to Sincere House. I will catch up with you in a moment if that's okay.
Of course.
Seraphina and Gus, you eventually arrive. It's past the Ascended Temples. The sounds of the really very much angry patrons who are very upset that their access to the solution provided by that Ascended Temple is being denied them. You kind of skirt away from that and avoid that congestion, and you continue to fly on towards the other temples. And you arrive at the Temple of Healing and Succor at the main entry area. And even coming into this space, it's peaceful and quiet in comparison to that madness between the madness of the house collapse and the rioting going on outside of that corrupt Ascended Temple to this space. It's like swinging through a waterfall and coming out the other side, and suddenly all the sounds of the city are gone. And you are dropped off the carpet. Your mother, yourself, your dad, Gus, and you're at the entrance to the temple. You're spotted quite quickly, and a couple of the priests run down to you. So, oh, and one of them is familiar to you, Gus, and also to you, Seraphina.
Hello.
And like, oh, you're back. Are you okay?
I'm fine. It's not me. It's my friend's father. Is in quite bad shape.
Wow, this is the worst type of luck you've had, and
he's been taking the thing that the wyvern's venom as medicine, and he's in bad shape.
Oh no, we don't have anybody versed in the symbiotic cure. And
can you stabilize him?
Just stabilize him.
Yes, right this way, and they kind of usher you. Your mother, Seraphina, I think you would notice, doesn't follow. She's just standing there, just spent at the entranceway. Like she stays within the alcove of the entranceway and doesn't go any further than that. I don't know if you want to continue with your father, because your father is being carted at this point.
No,
Physically.
I let him cart because
Okay.
I know hospitals, they'll take me to him. I want to go to the carpet guy, be like, okay, how much?
Well, it looks like it was a quick trip. That's an 8 gold fee
Great.
for the expansion.
And okay, great. I'm gonna give him 10 gold pieces.
Oh, do you want me to stick around until you're done?
No. Do you have like a business card so that way, you know, like I could call you specifically in the future? Like, do you have a certain color?
Yeah, sure. Here's my, and he hands you a little gemstone. It's very flat. Just crush it, and I'll be on my way. Thanks.
What was your name?
I'm Bob.
Bob.
Bab.
Uh,
Bab the cab driver. Bab.
All right.
Seraphina.
Seraphina?
There was a
Yeah.
lot of us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And then I'm gonna walk to my mother, just grab her by the hand, and I'm gonna look her in her eyes and say, "Take a deep breath. We gotta go inside."
She looks at you and says, where do you have so much gold?
I guess I picked up more jobs than I realized. We'll figure out all that later. We gotta go be with Dad.
Yeah. Okay. And she seems to like seeing that you have money in your explanation seems to lighten her level of stress just a little bit. Can you roll an insight check, Seraphina?
Insight. Insight. There we go. Ta-da! Ooh. Plus 2, so another 18.
You having money alleviated a level of stress that seems incongruent to you. She seems tremendously relieved.
I'm going to ask Seraphina. I'm like, Seraphina, do you have any of those papers that will send a note to Sticky Beak?
I think I do, right? I think I have 2 more.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll give him one.
Okay, you go with your father. I'll see if I can get some help.
Okay, I'll be just ask the nurses. I'm sure they'll take you back. That's what I'm about to go do. And then I'm gonna find a nurse or a priestess. And
Priestesses and
ask them-
priests and acolytes
I'm
and
gonna
others.
find whoever's nearby who would be able to assist me to where they took him.
Yeah.
And just continue to escort my mother.
Yes. Great.
Split the party more.
Gus, I'm going to work my way back around to you, Seraphina, but I just need to like catch up with everybody. Gus, what
Yeah.
are you writing and what is
I'm basically
the
just
plan?
going to write something like, Dear Sticky Beak, we have not killed anyone. No. Something like, Dear Sticky
No
Beak,
one has died.
we are in quite a bit of trouble. I was killed this morning and we've drained most of our resources. Primarily right now we need money. We are at XYZ hospital, whatever. Please come as quick as you can. And then that.
All right.
That
As
will fold
you
it into a little birdie. Give it a little
finish
kiss.
folding it into whatever form of bird you fold it into, I kind of want to make you do like a performance check to see if you're able to
Sure.
turn it into something pretty, but that would just be mean.
That's a 9.
The
a
wings
paper
are
airplane.
even. And it's just like
Pretty sure
Yeah,
a 9
it's-
gets me paper airplane.
Its wings don't actually flap. Its middle part flaps and it makes the wings look like they're flapping.
It's just jerking its way across town to Sticky Beak.
Great. So, and then you go into the hospital and try to catch up with Seraphina or
Yeah. I'm gonna go up to the desk and just ask like for directions on how to
Yeah.
and whatever. Yeah. I'll unsplit that part of the party.
Yeah, no worries. Ulua, you have flown off on your broomstick. Your broomstick is much faster than these carpets are, but your home, if that's where you're headed, is at a greater distance than the commons versus this. But yeah, are you headed there? Are you headed to a different location? Okay. You head to the Sincere house quite quickly. There's a little bit of a bustle of activity at the house. You left it and there wasn't anybody around, and now it's a buzz because that's what happens is that the Sincere house, it's an ebb and flow. People home, people not home. But yes, you see that there's multiple mage lights lit inside from the windows, and you arrive at the front door.
As I come in, who do I see Oksana or one of the other girls?
I think that you find Oksana. Why not? Let's just have Oksana be right there. She's just greeting people as they've come in, and looks like she hasn't even taken off her travel clothes from the day. She had been out and about, but she hasn't even really set down her stuff. Ulua, you arrive and you see Oksana at the Sincere house, kind of welcoming folks, still dressed in her travel clothes.
I'm going to go up to her, and I'm going to gently take her arm and just kind of pull her aside and go, I need your help. We may have a lead on a drug that's being used as medicine. You haven't met a couple of the people that our mutual friend has connected me with. One of them has a father who has been treated with this drug as a medicine, and now he's very weak. He's at such and such temple.
Name this temple.
I mean, like, if we want to take a moment here as just a group live and have fun with this, because I like naming things together. I do have names ready for things, but when people don't ask, you don't tell them.
Yeah, we got Underton and Overton because of me. If you let me name it, it's going to be Templeton University Hospital. So
Templeton.
Do you?
So this is a healing one.
Yes, it is a temple of healing. It
with
has
multiple gods in one, like
multiple deities have been. It's like a conglomerate. No ascended. So it's the quote unquote old gods of the times when the timeless trio were loose upon the land.
Until you ask.
The Times Temple. No, that's dumb. I was trying to think of the timeless trio.
I'm so bad at this shit.
Trying to think of something. Unity Temple? Something that like brings random people together.
Unitarian Hospital.
I was gonna say the Center for Community Health, so not any better than mine.
What's another like synonym for unity or united? Synonym.
I like Healing House Conglomerated.
HHC.
I am loving all of these, and you all choose one because it's much more funny and interesting than Mending Moonstone, which was the name that I had originally penned for this one.
So good.
I know. I like that. Let me go with that.
Wait, what does this say? What is this word? This seems cool. No.
Okay, so it'll be the Mending Moonstone.
Healing House Conglomerated.
Healing House Conglomerate.
It's part of the HHC.
It's part of the
Mending
HHC.
Moonstone HHC. There we go.
I gotta write that down.
All right. You Great. So you let Oksana know that the friend's father is at the Mending Moonstone.
And from what I understand, their house was attacked. We're not entirely sure by whom. There were a couple of bodies left over, but there wasn't much beyond. Well, there were some skeletons left. But they don't have a home anymore. They have nowhere to go. And they are short on funds. And we don't know how to treat the father. Can you help with any of those things at the moment? I will work something out, whatever we need to do. I haven't rested. I've been going and going. I can't even do my usual healing spells. I'm completely spent.
From what I understand of what you said, I did know that there was a something on the loose because a couple of our sisters, well, let's just say that they were treated with something that has ruined them magically. And everything else you've said, let's deal with the concrete. We have no space here, but your friend, and she points out the window and gestures up to the floating monstrosity that is right outside the window where you go and have a nice drink and watch some art. She has some space. We recently lost someone, and so that we could probably put them up temporarily there, and find out what we can do. As far as the father, she reaches into a purse at her side and hands you a small pouch. Those are some of our emergency funds.
Thank you.
I know that healing hall is pretty strict about being paid, but they do good work. I don't know more about this drug to help you with that, but pay them and they will do their best. And I'll see if I can't get in touch with some of ours and have them head over there to share what they know. I think
Jason, you said the name of the drug in front of me, right?
Yes.
And it's Wyvern's
Venom, Siren Song, Nightshade Ambrosia, Whisper Weed, Fallen Stardust.
he said Wyvern's blood.
I said Wyvern's. Yeah. Wyvern's Venom.
Okay.
That's all like
Wyvern
the street names for it.
Venom. And I'm just going to reiterate. I was like, okay. I will pay this back right away. Pass the word along throughout the sisterhood to everyone, every corner, to stay away from this. There may be other names for it that I'm not aware of, but don't let them accept anything as medicine, unless I don't even know. I don't even. It's so beyond us.
She holds your shoulders and looks into your eyes, and then her eyes start to glow. And you recognize this as her using her version of detect magic. And you see her face go ashen as she's looking at you. It's not the only problem we have. Have you breathed in any dust recently?
Dust.
And she reaches back into that same thing and pulls out another small package and says, "This is the emergency funds for us. Go get checked out."
Okay. Yeah,
Quickly.
okay, but what are they checking me for?
It looks like you've been infected with something that I thought was only from the industries.
I didn't even do it. Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll try to keep in touch and let you know.
You have time. It's slow progression, but please go get
I'm
checked
already
out.
going. I'm going.
So you fly back towards
Yep.
Ending Moonstone. Okay, great.
Halfway there, you die from magical asbestos poisoning.
Gus, Seraphina, you're both in the same space now around Seraphina's father's bed. Seraphina, your mother is there, looking
Probably,
visibly
like,
shaken.
More like facing out, like just in case anybody's still following us or like I'm watching.
Yeah, I mean, you're within the temple itself, so if you would like to step out of the temple, you wouldn't be
No,
anywhere
I'm just gonna
near.
stay near them and
Okay,
keep
so you're
watching.
inside the temple at this. It's not that these are. If you think about a modern hospital and there's a lot of private rooms or semi-private rooms, this is more along the lines of what a monastery would look like. Each little niche, what might have been a place where a priest would have lived in a medieval monastery, is actually a small space for someone to rest, and then their family members have to be there to take care of their other needs, their physical needs, their food. The healers in these spaces are healers. They are not nurses and caregivers. So anybody who ends up in one of these places has to have people who are taking care of them, and those who don't, they generally don't survive because there's nobody to care for them. And that's kind of one of the known struggles and issues of society. Is just that if you don't have people, you really truly are at risk when something bad happens, unless you have lots of money or people who love you. So it's kind of like that setting where there's not a lot of nurses moving around, orderlies, people bringing food around. It's private families with packed lunches for their loved one if those people can eat. It's the quiet, hushed whispers of healers conferring over different things. And Alua, that is what you walk into, is Gus and Seraphina there. Seraphina's mother tucked into the corner, hand on the bed, looking at Seraphina's father, who is reclined and currently unconscious. Seraphina, while you had been there, a couple of healers had come in and out. Nobody had actually done anything at that point, but there's definitely a lot of concern and furrowed brows. I think Gus shared about the wyvern's venom, and so that most of any conversation you've overheard, unless you're trying to like find something specific out, has been about what to do.
I'm just gonna walk up to Seraphina and press one of the small satchels into her palm.
Yeah, you press that little satchel into her palm. It is, let me see here, 60 gold pieces. Oh, and Alua, the other bag you were given was another 60 gold pieces.
Just to go back for 1 second, because I missed it writing notes. What was HHC again?
Healing House Conglomerated.
Mending Moonstone of the Healing House Conglomerated.
I got the moonstone. Healing what?
Heal.
I mentioned it to you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, healing house. I thought it was heart.
I'm gonna pull Seraphina and I almost said Larissa, Olua aside, and be like, okay, so now that we're all together and things are calm for a second, I was following up on your brother and his disappearance. I went to the temple where we almost just went back to, and that's where people followed me to your house. So you should definitely not go back there. I was about to stop you, but then we didn't. There was a riot or whatever. I hope they burned it down, but whatever.
Who followed you?
I made a lot of inquiries about your brother, about his disappearance. I have proof that that was the last place that he went before he disappeared. So
Why are
when
you
I
looking
started
for Rodax?
to help you,
Really?
yeah, you're my friend. It just
Oh,
seemed something that was within my skill set to look into. So as long as I was investigating things again, I added it to the list.
thank you.
You're welcome. But I think they probably have something to do with his disappearance. They were trying to cover up me finding out anything else, but that's why they attacked us.
And then what is this about the medicine?
So I sort of tried to pose as a corrupt City Watch official, and they saw through it, I think. But I had him going for a little bit, and he sort of admitted to me that they are using this wyvern's venom as a drug to keep patients sick and just keep them paying and paying. So it's a racket that's taking over the whole city. Yeah. So I was able to see the logbook of their transactions from the time around your brother disappeared, so I can confirm he was there. And then I saw your signature in the logbook, so I saw that you've been continuing to pick it up. So I just wanted to tell you that this is. I don't know what your father's original illness is that caused him to start taking this, but this is not making him better. It's making him sick. So I just needed you to know before, just in case anything else happens.
Okay. Gosh. It's not really sure what to do now.
I sent a note to Stickybeak asking if he could help financially or in some other way. Were you able to find out anything?
Not necessarily. I was just I was able to get some funds. Apparently I also need to get checked out. I'm not sure if that applies to you two as well. Oksana took one look at me and said I was infected with something. So I think I should stay separate and I should go try to take care of that, I guess.
How did she?
Something
Yeah,
about
what?
it breathing in dust.
Well, if you breathed in dust, I'm sure we breathed in dust.
I don't know. She wouldn't. She was very vague. It was very frustrating.
How did she tell? Or how did she?
She used the spell that lets her see magic.
No, I can do that. So I'm going to say second sight is a great phrase for Gus. And like wave my hand and then like cast detect magic. And then look at both of them to see if I can see whatever.
Roll a medicine check, please.
Oh yes. 17.
17. With a 17, usually when you use detect magic, you check out all the spells and everything, but like looking at your two friends, there's magic in them, except Alua shouldn't really have much magic in her right now beyond, her accoutrements and stuff, because she has already shared with you she is magically drained at this point. She has cast everything that she had left. Seraphina, I don't know, did you have any spell slots left?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so neither of them have much left, but there is something, necrotic magic at work. And what makes this, you're not a magical medical practitioner, Gus.
An MMP.
But you are able to see that there's something going on that isn't right. It's small, and seeing that, you think you'll recognize it where if you look elsewhere. You're in this room, actually, so
First, I want to look down at like my own body and see if I can see it in me as well.
you can see it in you as well.
Okay. And then maybe just past some of the other beds, just kind of
Looking around, the other beds, you don't see it in other patients, but then you see Seraphina's father. And it's like the tiny little bit that you have, his entire body is aflame with this.
Gosh.
And then you see Seraphina's mother has a tiny one about the same size as yours.
Okay. Seraphina, do you have any of that medicine left I could look at?
It's a great question. GM, do I have any left?
I'm sure you have some.
Okay, he did just say she'd just been there when I was at the temple. So
Yeah. I'm sure you have some.
Okay. So then I'll pull it out, be like, pow!
Does it have the same
Death
glow?
medicine.
Wow, death medicine. There is magic to this drug, but it does not match the signature. It's not even the same type of magic. I think from your knowledge of magic and this recently developed space that you're in, the basic sense you have of what this wyvern's venom must do to people, to healthy people, is it drains their magic, but in a way that feels good.
I'm so high and I'm a magic feather.
What you're seeing as you look around is something that is messing with people.
Okay. Okay, it's not that. You can put that away before someone sees it. There's a lot of sick people in here that would probably grab that.
Stick it back in my bag.
There's something necrotic in all four of us, and very, very more, or much more so in your father. I can see it. I don't know what it is. It's very small in all of us, but very, very present in him.
It's so frustrating. I really wish Oksana had just said anything more than beyond the fact that I inhaled the dust. I'm gonna go over to one of the healers and try to find one of the healers that's a free. I don't know if there's like not a desk, but like an area where you like someone who can direct.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is again not like a typical modern thinking of a hospital, but you can find healers who have congregated in different spots and that are having whispered conversations, trying to respect the privacy of the people here who are getting help, and leave each other alone when they're engaged in the act of healing. You see a couple engaged in spell casting of some sort over more trivial wounds, trivial being that they're actual wounds and not some sort of strange magical infection. And then you find one individual So I'll let you decide, and you can roll insight checks to decide which person you want to try to talk to. But you can find there's a trio talking amongst themselves. There's somebody who's in the act of healing somebody from a wound, and there's an individual who's writing out notes on a scroll of some sort.
I'm going to go to the trio.
Okay.
I'm sorry to bother you, to interrupt.
Yeah, well, we can catch up with this later. Okay. Yeah. No.
But I need all of your help, only because it's embarrassing. I was told, based on an evaluation of looking at me magically, that I was infected with something by inhaling dust. I don't know what that means. And my friends are also infected, and my friend's father is apparently very succumbed to it, and I I don't have a name for it. I don't know what anything more than that.
Are you attached to the man? And they kind of point in the direction of Seraphina's father.
That's my friend's father. Yes.
Wyvern? Oh,
So he
Yes.
he was given Wyvern's venom, but this is something else. And my other friend just confirmed it. He looked at us.
Do you know when he took the Wyvern's venom, did he get better or become more stable?
I think he would get better briefly, and now he's ill again. But that's not what this is. We have not taken it at all. This is something else, and it has something to do with breathing in dust. That's all I know.
Dust from the factories.
I haven't been to a factory recently. Have I?
No. I mean,
okay.
Unless you were knocked unconscious and then returned from whence you came.
No. I haven't visited any factories recently. I don't think any of us have. Except possibly, but even so, at one moment, can you stay right here? I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm going to call someone because this has triggered a thought, and this helps.
Okay. Maybe you could come to us then, and maybe I can figure out the whole factory thing, and we can see what we both come up with.
Yes. I think this makes a lot of sense, and we do have a specialist who yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay.
They turn and they walk to a section of the space that only healers have been coming in and out of, and if you had glanced or watched when they go through that doorway, it looks completely unlike the rest of the temple. It looks more like what you would see at a college, just like a long hallway of offices and stuff like that. Like where faculty work and stuff like that.
Okay. And I'm going to go back to our group, and I'm going to turn to Seraphina's mom, and I'm going to say, when was the last time you were at a factory?
Earlier today. I got off my second shift, and I was getting groceries and going to go to my third shift.
Okay. And your husband?
He hasn't worked in years. He's been too ill.
Okay. I'm not saying.
When I looked at her, did I see like dust on her, on the outside, like magic, necrotic, whatever?
You mean on? You're all covered in dust from the house collapse.
I just mean like on Seraphina's mother specifically. Was she like more
like magical
than
dust?
the rest of us?
No, she's no more sick than you all are. Equally covered in dust.
The only reason I ask, and I kind of turn over to Gus to kind of indicate that it's related, is I just went to speak to one of the healers. My friend that I live with told me that I got infected somehow by inhaling dust, and Gus just confirmed that all of us are infected. Your husband infinitely more so than the rest of us, but this has nothing to do with the medicine that he's been taking, that isn't medicine. And so I approached healers to ask if they could help, and one of them asked if I had been to a factory, and I hadn't, but I knew you had. So that's why I asked. I don't know if that's related, or maybe they're asking for something else, but
Your mother, Seraphina, turns to you and says, your father didn't. We never worked at the same factories, but he worked, and there were perks. He could bring home supplies, and that's how he renovated our house, was with those supplies. My work doesn't involve dust. We're simply powering through our spells
Do you know
the spaces.
Do you know which factory the house materials came from?
It's been closed down for a couple of years now. It was one of the ones that got shut down because of the pollution. I'm sure that they've reopened somewhere because these things never go away. And I think they were providing materials for housing, actually. But when he was building, that was about the time that he got sick.
I like pat my pocket and I pull out the card from that EMT and I'm like, because I realize I'm gonna have to like let her know that they're also all probably infected. Just put that away.
Well, that was years and years ago, and it took a while before he got to where he is now.
Seems like that may be the source of his illness.
perhaps that's how he was originally sick before he was started to be treated with the wyvern venom.
Yeah.
But whatever that is, we now all have it.
We all have it?
All of us.
You?
From the house. It seems like it's from the dust from the house.
Yeah.
What a day.
As
So does that mean everyone in the town, like all my neighbors, need to be told too? The ones that were around?
Maybe. I mean, everybody sort of ran inside when the fighting started, so hopefully they're okay. I don't know how many got close afterwards.
Oh gosh.
I'll let the emergency management team know, and they'll handle it. How far from this hospital is the emergency management office?
Pretty far.
Okay, then I'll do it later.
Standing in this contemplative silence, it's a little bit before the healers come back down, and they bring someone with them, a new face, and a face, Ulua, that is familiar to you. It is a member of the Comshare who had retired, and you can see that they're dressed in acolyte robes of one of the deities that are associated here, and their face lights up when they see you. Oh, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, although I wish it were under different circumstances.
Well, what's happening?
It seems and I look at just around at our whole group, I say, we've been infected by some sort of dust that we think has been infecting him, and I indicate towards Seraphina's father, longer than the rest of us, but has to do with materials that were used for building that came from a factory he worked in years ago. But Oksana took one look at me and told me to get looked at, and Gus looked at all of us, and we're all in the same boat, but her father more so than anything. And so
she turns and puts her hand on the arm of the taller individual that she came in with, that is a new face to you, and says, please, that one of my sisters, and if Oksana knows, this is something you definitely know about. And the taller individual, how tall are you all?
I'm 5'10".
I'm like 6 foot.
Okay. They're looking down at you
6'1".
quite a bit. They're
Muted. Is
They're-
what you
they're-
are.
So I'm 7'3".
you mean
Heart.
3'7"?
Actually, I'm 3'3".
You see that they come. Their eyes shine with the same light that Oksana's eyes shined with, and they look at all of you, and then their eyes settle on Seraphina's father. And as their eyes settle on Seraphina's father, they breathe a heavy sigh. Well, it's been a long time since I've seen somebody we've worn to that extent and still alive. What was the drug you said? And they turn to look at you all.
Wyvern's venom. Seraphina has
Yeah.
some if you need to.
Strangely, that'd be the only thing that would preserve someone while also killing them in a different way.
We give you this and you can use it or not use it. I don't know if it's better to wean him off or...
Oh, we should, hopefully we can avoid that altogether, because if we well, it does a rough job and it gives you temporary relief, but it's not intended for that purpose. But pulling away his magic probably kept him alive as long as he is. The infection you all seem to have it feeds upon magic. And I'm guessing he kind of looks at Lua and Seraphina and then tilts his head as he looks at Gus. I'm guessing you've all been a little low on whatever spells you usually use.
I mean, right now I haven't rested
Yeah,
in
I'm
a
just
long
tired.
time.
Otherwise, I feel better now.
Well, you, and he looks at Gus, are probably most at risk then. But no rest for the wicked. Lua, is that your name?
Mm-hmm.
And yours?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm Seraphina.
Okay. Well, I'm Gentry's. And it looks like you all have weave worn. Easy enough to cure, and those of you who only just recently, within a matter of hours, hasn't even anchored into your magic. You, my young gnome friend, it's feeding on something in you. Not sure that that's the best situation, but let's see what we can do. And they begin asking permission first to kind of physically check into each of you, as well as with their mage sight. Gus, yours is still up. I don't even know that yours can end if you don't want it to, because you just get
It's
to
at
do it at
will,
will as it is. So I think you get the best side of this. As he interacts with each of them, you can see that instead of pushing magic into them, he actually seems to be trying to create a void of magic. And this is a strange and very different sort of magic use. This is not someone who. This is one of the magic weavers, the people who made a practice of figuring out what are the mechanics underlying magic and how to mess with it and how to change it. They are often quite at odds with the Ascended as well, because they are seen as a secondary faction or as being like usurpers of magical power. But he's tweaking where the magic is in each person's body. He is going to roll. Let's see, Alua, why don't you roll for each of you? You'll roll your own dangers
Oh,
here.
no.
Alua, could you roll a d20? And then unmute yourself and tell us what danger you landed in.
Sorry. Let me recreate that. 19.
Oh, awesome. You have a moment where you can feel you're not unused to the power that is yours, but it's drained out right now. And then you feel this twisting in your gut where, like, even at your lowest, you still have a flow of magical energy, and it's gone from there. And your eyes go blurry for a moment, and you can taste blood copper on your tongue. And then he claps you on the shoulder and says, much better. Well, on to the next. And he turns to Jess.
I'm going to turn off my detect magic after the first one, realizing that the thing is probably feeding on the spell being cast.
It totally is. I was curious how long you were going to let that go. Give me an opportunity to try to kill you again. Seraphina, roll a d20.
Okay. Do I add anything?
He adds it, and I will not tell you what it is.
Okay, I also rolled a 19.
Well, that's just... y'all rolling high today. He, again...
I did not the first one. The first thing I rolled today was a 3, so
Okay, well...
I'm going to take it.
I've rolled
You also
well
have
with
a
this
very
guy.
similar thing. I think, Seraphina, you have this moment where you can feel, because yours is centered around your intelligence. Ulua's is centered around her emotional space. Her magic is attached to that in that way. Yours is attached to your intellect. And you have a sudden sensation of phantom pains, and your thoughts just seem to get tangled up. And you have this moment where you just even forget that you're in this space. And then you feel in your head just a vast emptiness, which is strange. And with the momentary mind blink, it's just completely confusing. And then your thoughts come back to order, and he smiles at you, down at you. Oh, yeah, that worked out well. Well, you're next, my small friend, unless, ma'am, you would like to go.
You should do her first.
He turns to Seraphina's mother. And Seraphina, since this is your mom, let's see what you do to her. Roll a d20.
What you do to
8.
her. Oh, what did you do? No.
Glad I rolled high for me.
You watch as your mother becomes much like your father. She seems to, like, you can see that she seems to have some difficulty concentrating. And then she starts to speak in a voice not her own. And she says, with their fines, the ascended will fall. And then she collapses back on herself. Oh, well, that's a little tougher. She's going to need some time to recover from that.
Wait, what did she say?
With their fines, the ascended will fall.
THEIR?
Hmm?
You said with their?
THEIR.
Okay.
Not that you would have heard there.
Oh man, I got distracted. With their what?
Fines,
Fines.
the ascended will
ascended.
fall.
Is your mom omniscient?
And he says to you all, oh, well, that's exciting. It's been a while since I've experienced this. And, well, untangling that from her shouldn't have been so complex, but I guess either she's prone to prophecy or untangling her weave triggered it. And
What do you mean untangling it?
the infection that it's a product of those old factories. The pollution that they've been putting out has been destroying so many lives. But one of the things that made those factories last and profit as much as they did is that some of the ascended realized that they could take advantage of those sick as they had prophetic dreams. He gestures to your father and says, has he not, with as advanced as he is in this, shared some insights that seem incongruent with his state?
Can I roll a history check to see if I remember him spouting any
Sure.
craziness?
You'll be rolling this with disadvantage.
Okay.
Yesterday he was like, the house is about to collapse. Everybody get out. And he didn't listen. Now look what happened.
I know. Oh, okay, not bad. And I'm doing a history. Whoa. Okay, I'll take that. 22.
You remember a lot of times where he spoke in strange ways, similar to how your mother just spoke kind of outside of her own voice. You remember a lot of times where he would say things, and then you, your brother, even occasionally your mother when she was able to be around, but she was working flat out, would just laugh about the things he said. And then later on, something would happen that seemed remarkably coincidental. One that wasn't quite such a laughing situation was the day he said, I will mourn my son's passing. That was the same day as your brother disappeared.
Yeah, he's definitely said weird things before. What does that mean?
Well, one of the symptoms is these tangled thoughts, is what we like to call them. Have you heard of this?
No?
As you've cared for him? Well, one of the symptoms is that they will lose memory, have trouble concentrating, or in rare cases, such as your mother, have strange insights or prophetic dreams. It's worth writing down that one in case it's useful to you all.
Strange insights.
I won't be able to work through his as quickly. So what about you?
Sure, let's do it.
So once you untangle us, are we cured?
Well, I caught you both quite early. Her immune system must have been weak, but extracted it from both of you quite quickly.
I rolled a 17, Mark.
Okay. I mean, you clearly are out of magic, and whenever this caught on to you, you must have been completely drained because there's very little there for it to grasp hold of, and I was able to extract you pretty quickly. And as he's talking, he's reaching over to Gus's head and putting his head on either side of Gus's temples. He moves his hands down to Gus's chest. Moves his hands down to Gus's belly. Ah! And he looks you in the eyes, Gus, and says, "A deal maker, huh? And you don't even know."
Sorry.
And Gus, can you roll a charisma saving throw?
14.
14?
14.
You just failed the save.
no.
It's not bad.
But I still don't remember.
Completely. I feel like I can turn this story to you unless you want me to do it. Actually, let me do it because I feel like, well, where does your patron reside? I know that Gus doesn't know, but Jason does. And what does that look like?
Gus's patron lives in the Feywild, which can be accessed through a tunnel in Underton. And do you want me to say like what the patron is, or?
So you, Gus, your eyes just blur a bit, similar to how you go when you detect magic, and you see a place where everything is ridiculously vibrant. Flowers are in bloom in impossible hues. There are butterflies with wings that are shimmering, kind of like oil does on water. And the air just seems to shimmer with magical light. And it's all attached to these beautiful trees. Trees that you would just dream of painting. And as you see this space in this realm, you see a little gold coin on the ground in front of you.
Like in the real world, there's a gold coin? What? Like in the hospital in front of me, there's a gold coin on the floor?
You're not in the hospital.
Oh, I'm like transported to this place? Where I think I
Air is
am?
filled with a hum of buzzing insects, tinkling bells. You hear laughter from something you can't see. There's some music playing.
I'm just like, oh shit, did I die again?
You hear the jingle as gold hits gold, and you see another gold coin on top of the one that was first upon your path as your eyes are tracked down. And
Pick up the gold coin because I just spent it all.
you pick up the gold coins, and you hear a voice that you can't place saying, "Get out." And you open your eyes, but you think you already had your eyes open. You open your eyes, and there's the doctor at your belly going, "Well, that's just a mess. But got it off you.
Thank you. Do I have the 2 gold coins in my hand?
You look at your hand and you see 2 gold coins. They are marked with a stamp that you are unfamiliar with.
I'm just gonna be like, thanks, and give them to the doctor.
Oh, the charges will be through the hospital, and sorry, but 2 will not quite meet this requirement.
So, put that in my pocket and hope Sticky Beak shows up at some point.
I'm gonna lean over to Gus and be like, I didn't realize we were being treated. I thought it was just being nice.
Better than dying, I guess. We'll figure it out.
All right. So he says, well, you all can stay here if you want, but it's going to take a couple of days to work on this young fella here.
Is there anything that we can bring you that will help?
You know, strange thing is the less there's here, the better. If I could, I would. Maybe I should. I'm going to put up some wards to block out everything.
Okay.
If
Food,
you can
supplies.
find out where this came from that you got caught up in, we should put it out before it's too late.
It came from my house.
The collapsing house.
Well, that'll narrow things down. If you can get over there and get that taken care of, that would save the city a lot of problems.
Do you have a recommendation of who we should?
I can
ask for
notify
help?
the emergency management team. I have contacts.
Okay.
Yeah. If you do that, it should be good. I do have some recommendations for you. You are not currently infected, but you are at risk for weave sickness. So you just want to make sure you're doing some management of that.
Which
What does that mean?
entails
Well, just don't ingest any enchanted items in general. And if you do notice any symptoms start to surface, try to avoid using your magic until they subside. You know.
Oh, what are the symptoms? No, I mean, none of us knew we were infected.
Well, you're at the early stages. It's not a problem at all. But what you've seen in your father is a perfect example of that. You've probably caught early on when he seemed to have difficulty concentrating, forgot things, was telling you those eerie predictions. You might have blurry spells, or see an aura like detect magic around objects, but that's not through this casting of that spell. You might see other realms. I've heard that's a fairly common one. And then you can get those tingling sensations in your fingers and toes, phantom pains, strange echoes of emotions that you don't have. And the late stages, and he's gesturing to your father directly now, Seraphina, where you can see his muscles are tremoring, tremors, clumsiness, paralysis, death. Just like a medicine ad.
Yeah. Side effects include
death.
One quick thing to note. This man's doctor was giving him wyvern venom as medicine, but it's not medicine, it's a drug.
Yeah, it has. You get into the workings of wyvern's venom, and I've been around for a couple 100 years, so way back when it was used to try to purge people of magic. Wyvern's venom pulls away all of the mana. It was used to control the earliest spellweavers.
Why is this allowed to be used as a medicine? How is that not illegal?
It is illegal.
It is. Sorry, did you say legal or illegal?
It is illegal. 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 This voice is killing me.
Our city's
Okay.
authorities are also extremely corrupt.
I understand that, but is there any sort of medical accountability within the community?
Our community keeps things pretty on the level, but the Ascended Temples have their own.
And is that DM, is that other temple an Ascended Temple?
Oh, it's an Ascended Temple. All of the Ascended Temples have been known for, it's like they all have their thing, and they're trying to. The older gods are known variables, but those gods are known, and the Ascended have tried to replace those gods, and some are successful and some are not. And in many cases, they create false places of worship. And I think that this is probably like along the lines of like things you did not learn in 8th grade history class, but you learn later on in life. And I think especially Ulua, for your character, she's aware of the misleading history. And there's always something new you find out where somebody did something.
Well, we know at least one doctor who is prescribing this as medicine. And I turn over to Seraphina. What was his name again?
Franz. Dr. Franz.
Well, I'm with the Weavers, and we don't have anybody that I know by that name, but we'll do some investigating and make sure that nobody within our ranks is doing something like this. But if this is out of one of the Ascended Temples.
I understand, but thank you for everything.
Is there a chance I can help down the line?
We may need to there may be more victims such as us. There may be other houses that were built with these materials. We'll look into it and see what we can find. And we're also looking into the medicine. But
people should be fine as long as the houses don't collapse, and that's what I gather happened to this particular place.
There was an attack, yes.
Yeah, well, sounds like there was a couple of things working against you all. On the upside, that Wyvern's venom did keep this man alive much longer than I would have expected.
And you think you can still cure him, even though it'll take a couple of days?
There's always hope.
If you need anything, please, I'm at Sincere House. Please contact me. Let me know anything, supplies, anything I can do to help.
And the former Comshire that is in the Alkalite robes nods, and I can get in contact if needed.
Okay, thank you, sister.
Doctor, what was your name? I don't think I caught it in the
Gentries.
Nice memory. Can't remember how to summon your broom, but you remembered the doctor's name. Pretty solid. We got a 50-50 shot here.
It's one of those things where it's like in the moment. If I'm like in the moment making something up, then also I didn't make it up. So that's half the problem is I can't remember the shit I say. I remember the shit you say, not the shit I say.
Yeah, well, happens to all of us actually. And with that, I'm going to close this session because you have actually solved the case of the disease. I will say before we go here, and you might have other things to explore as well. But you know about the weave sickness. There's still the outstanding question of Seraphina's brother's abduction. There's possibly following up on the fake cure. And then there's your general allies and enemies that you've been going about.
My poor house.
Your home, whoever killed
Roger Rabbit.
Grand, the various hidden powers that you've been uncovering and trying to figure things out around. But next time, I think we'll start up with Sticky Beak arriving.
Ooh.
And because Gus did
A
summon
little
him.
teaser of what's next.
And see what happens with the next arc. I have so many pages of possible things that I will leave it all to you to determine what happens next.
Sticky Beak becomes the BBEG. Probably.
Of course, he's been the BBEG this whole time. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful time. Please like, subscribe, leave comments, send us chocolate sauce. Check us out at probabilityofdemise.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay.